Hi everyone, welcome to the Tale of Seven Dragons, told by Catherine from Period 4. First, let me talk about the introduction. So, on planet X, there were 17 purebred dragons. With the help of the humans, these dragons were able to mate with different breeds much more easily. Here's my F3 dragons. Her name is Red Boy. She is a female but I named her Red Boy to make her special. She is an F3 generation dragon, born as a result of the crossbreeding caused by humans on planet X. She is a hybrid dragon, but her pedigree shows that she has many traits that is passed from her parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents to her. There are two phenotypic traits that are noteworthy for Red Boy are her fire-breathing and her five toes. Fire-breathing follows normal Mendelian genetics. This means that for this trait, it can have either the heterozygous dominant F or the homozygous dominant F genotype. Toll number is an incompletely dominant trait, so this means that for this trait it must have the homozygous dominant T genotype to be able to have five tolls. Next, let's talk about the laughing dragon. He is one of the F2 generation parents of my F3 dragon. He was a male red dragon who also had five toes. Because having five toes is an incomplete dominant trait, so the phenotype of five toes was created by having a homozygous dominant T genotype. Because he was homozygous, so he could only donate the dominant allele T, and of course my F3 dragon received the dominant allele from its dad F2. Next is my F1 Thundermo. Here is one of the two F2 generations parent is the F1 generation dragon, which name is Thundermo was a brown female green dragon who only had four toes, but because having toes is a trait that shows incomplete dominance, so the phenotype of four toes was created by having a heterozygous dominant T genotype. Because she was heterozygous, so she could have donated either the recessive allele t or the dominant allele T, and my F3 dragon received it, the dominant allele T. Next dragon is my P generation, which name is Komodo Bugoy. She is my F3 great-grandmother, and she was a purebred brown female green dragon who only have three toes. As I already said before, toes number is an incomplete dominant trait, so the phenotype of the three toes was created by having a homozygous recessive t genotype. And because she was homozygous recessive, she could have donated only the recessive allele, and my F1 dragon of course received the recessive allele little t. Next dragon that I will tell you about is the Polynesia windsurfer. She was one of the F2 generation parents of my F3 generation. She was a hybrid female dragon who had the fire breathing. Fire breathing follow normal Mendelian genetics, so the phenotype of exists. Fire breathing was created by having either the homozygous dominant F or the heterozygous dominant F genotype, and the results show that she had the heterozygous dominant F genotype. Because she was the heterozygous dominant, so she could have donated either the recessive allele f or the dominant allele F, and my F3 dragon received the dominant allele F. Next dragon is Canolier. He was one of the F1 generation parents of my F2 dragon, was a hybrid male dragon who had fire breathing. Fire breathing followed the normal Mendelian genetics, so the phenotype of exists. Fire breathing was created by having either the homozygous dominant F or the heterozygous dominant F genotype. She had the and he had the homozygous dominant genotype. So, because he was a homozygous dominant, so he could have only donate the dominant allele, which is F, and of course, my F2 dragon received the dominant allele. Sorry for some mistake. Next, last but not least, an Amazonian dragon. He was one of my F3 generation's ancestor, and he was a purebred male dragon who didn't have fire breathing. Fire breathing, as I said before, it followed the normal Mendelian genetics, so the phenotype of an absence of fire breathing was created by having a homozygous recessive F genotype. Because he was homozygous recessive, he could only donate the recessive allele F, and of course my F1 dragon received the recessive allele F. Next is the jewel eye traits. So jewel eye is a sex-linked trait which is based on its gender. If it is male, it can only has one allele, but if it is female, it can carry two alleles. My F3 don't have jewel eye, but it is a carrier. Capital J, little j for female. All of my 7 dragons don't have jewel eye, but but there are but there are 2 that are the carriers. Beside my F3 dragons, my P generation was also a carrier. The Punnett square below show the probability of my F1 getting a recessive allele from its mother P generation. As you can look at the Punnett square, you can see that this is for the female dragon, which is the carrier capital J little j, and this is for her mating partner capital J and none. So there will be normally four possible thing happen is capital J, or capital J little j for carrier, only capital J and only little j. But because female can only have two of this and male can only have two of this, so the probability will increase into 50% that my dragon can receive uh, the recessive allele from its mother to be the carrier. And also my F1 and its sibling had all have the same condition like capital J, which are not the carrier. So the three traits that I mentioned is fire breathing, told number, and troll eye. Those are not the co-dominant trait, but in the dragon traits, the one trait that are co-dominant is the X color, which there was a color mix between white and gray. So that's called the co-dominant traits. The end. This is the end of my tale of seven dragons. There are some image and picture represent the seven dragons. The end. Homologous, homologous, homologous.